Welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm Robert van Barneveld, the Chair of the Autism CRC, and I'm very pleased to be here with you this afternoon for this special event, which is the launch of myWAY Employability. This is Autism CRC's new smart web platform that has been designed specifically to help young people on the autism spectrum plan and prepare for their working life. Joining us in the audience today are colleagues from the Telstra Foundation, the National Disability Insurance Agency, the CSIRO, the Positive Partnerships team from Aspect, federal and state government departments from all over Australia and New Zealand, representatives from our research and development partners, allied health and disability service providers across Australia, as well as parents and young people on the spectrum who have been part of the journey from the beginning. Just by way of overview, Autism CRC's vision is to see autistic people empowered to use their diverse strengths and interests, and this myWAY Employability platform certainly contributes to that. It guides young people through a series of questions to help them identify their strengths, interests, learning and environmental preferences, and then matches this information to potential relevant careers and employment pathway. myWAY Employability provides scaffolded goal setting to break goals into smaller action lists to track progress. It's based on 6 years of research, trials and evaluation related to transition planning for young people on the spectrum. We know myWAY Employability can help to improve the self-determination of autistic young people to plan and prepare for their working life. This is why we're so excited to be launching this purpose-built product here this afternoon. Shortly, I'm going to introduce Jackie Coates, who's the head of Telstra Foundation, to officially launch myWAY Employability. After Jackie, we're going to hear from the myWAY Employability team that consists of Associate Professor Marina Ciccarelli, Cheryl Mangan and Brendan James. They're going to talk about the strong evidence base underpinning myWAY Employability with the better outcomes and successful transitions for autism research. They're going to explain how the platform has been co-designed and developed in deep partnership with young people and their supporters. They will also give a brief demo of the myWAY Employability platform. We're then going to hear from 4 wonderful young people, Liam, Grace, Harry and Alexander, who have all been involved at some point in the myWAY research and co-design journey. We'll hear about their own strengths, interests and work experiences, how they've been involved with myWAY and how they think it can help other young people. Finally, I'm going to hand over to the Autism CRC Chief Executive, Andrew Davis, who will facilitate a Q&A session with the team. I'd like to let you know that several parts of today's launch have been pre-recorded, including this part. The Q&A session, however, will be live and you will have the opportunity to submit text questions at any time during this afternoon's event. You can do this by typing your questions into the Q&A panel of the Zoom control panel, and you can see that at the bottom of your screen it has 2 speech bubbles as an icon. If you could please ensure that you submit your questions to the speakers via the Q&A panel rather than the chat panel, we will make sure we can then see them and get your questions to the relevant panel member. You can send your questions in at any time. We will collect them and address as many as we can during the time available during the Q&A session. On behalf of the Autism CRC, and once again, I would like to thank all of the young people, parents, service providers and educators who have played a role in making myWAY Employability a reality. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce the head of the Telstra Foundation, Jackie Coates, to say a few words and officially launch myWAY Employability.
Thanks, Robert. Well, we're so proud at the Telstra Foundation of our partnership with Autism CRC, and we first connected back with the Tech for Good Challenge. And when you think about technology, you know, it's changed the way we live, the way we work, the way we play, the way we connect. And for us at the Telstra Foundation, what we're really excited about is how can we use technology to help young people thrive? And sort of central to this idea is that the ways we could potentially unleash the creativity, the digital innovation, the experimentation in the not-for-profit sector to find new solutions to some of our most pressing social challenges. So that's what the Tech for Good Challenge did. It brought 15 NFPs through an intensive training over 5 months, and then 5 were selected to take their products further, bring their ideas to life, and they receive funding. So from the get-go, Autism CRC was very clear, cracker team. I think, so clear on their mission, such a deep and respectful understanding of the challenge space that they were working in, and perhaps most importantly, super collaborative people. And so very inclusive approach, which is absolutely essential to designing new technologies. And so while the team got access to the Telstra Foundation funding, to a capability program, to tools and access to some awesome coaches, I think it was a two-way learning experience for us in the Tech for Good Challenge. We certainly at the Foundation learned a lot more about some of the challenges people with autism are facing. Less than half of the school leavers on spectrum are likely to go into a university course or a TAFE course or pursue post-school training. So this is a nutty problem that needs to be solved. And the other thing I think we learnt was the incredible depth of skill and in the autistic community. And just if you actually tap into it, you can make your products better. And I think Autism CRC showed us that, even when it came down to designing the content on the website, when the navigation on the website, everything was bespoke, everything was designed for the users, and that certainly increased our understanding of what needs to happen in that process. So I am thrilled today to officially launch myWAY Employability. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, Jackie. Your passion, enthusiasm and support for myWAY Employability is greatly appreciated. We look forward to continuing to work with the Telstra Foundation to help ensure autistic people can use their diverse strengths and interests to their fullest potential. I'm now very pleased to introduce the myWAY Employability team, Associate Professor Marina Ciccarelli from Curtin University, Cheryl Mangan from the Autism CRC, and Brendan James, also from the Autism CRC. These team members have each made a significant contribution to myWAY Employability, engaging young people every step of the way to make sure that the platform not only enables young people to identify their strengths, interests and potential career pathways, but also that it's a platform that young people would actually want to use. They've been working towards this moment for a very long time, and I congratulate them on making myWAY Employability a reality. Over to you, Marina, Cheryl and Brendan.
Almost 1/3 of autistic individuals of working age are unemployed, and less than half of school leavers on the autism spectrum are likely to attend university, TAFE or other post-school training. We know that unsuccessful transition to work increases the risk of exclusion from the workforce, increases social isolation, as well as the risk of physical and mental health issues. On the other hand, successful transition leads to earlier potential to get a job, higher job satisfaction, increased productivity in the workplace, and improved capacity for independent living in the community. Many schools are moving towards a more inclusive approach to education, and teachers are looking for resources and supports to help them apply these inclusive approaches to their teaching, as well as how they support adolescents on the autism spectrum in their transition planning. Meanwhile, employers are actively looking for neurodiverse talent, and there are many existing and emerging jobs that are extremely well suited to the unique strengths of autistic individuals. We developed myWAY Employability to give autistic young people a tool to help them to plan and prepare for post-school education, training or work. myWAY Employability is based on the foundation of 6 years' worth of research into transition planning, which was originally used to develop a digital tool called the Boost A, or Better Outcomes and Successful Transitions from Autism. The Boost A was developed in collaboration with young people on the autism spectrum, as well as the adults who support them. It used unambiguous and relevant language and uncluttered image to provide a step-by-step guide to career exploration, goal setting, creating work experience opportunities, and developing networks for future employment. The Boost A is underpinned by 5 employability principles, which are also the foundation for myWAY employability. Number 1, start transition planning early, ideally in Year 9 or as soon as possible after that. Number 2, keep the young person at the centre of all transition planning. It is, after all about them. Number 3, focus on what the big picture is that work can offer, and this is best done by providing work experience opportunities. Number 4, encourage the young person to dream big about what it is that they want to do when they finish school. And number 5, have a champion on the transition planning team, someone who can help keep moving things forward. We conducted an Australia-wide clinical trial of the Boost Day with 94 school students on the autism spectrum back in 2016. And those adolescents and their parents and the teachers and health professionals working with them told us that the Boost Day was appropriate, relevant, and easy to use. Students who used the Boost Day as part of their transition planning reported higher levels of self-determination to set and achieve goals for further study or training after school or for getting a job than students who simply used the existing transition planning processes that were available in their school. We developed and conducted 15 workshops on how to use the Boost Day and delivered those to over 100 young people on the spectrum, parents, teachers, mentors, therapists, local area coordinators, and employment support specialists. We did this in Perth, Kalgoorlie, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and Mackay. And we asked those workshop participants what they liked about the Boost Day and what they thought might be improved. We also surveyed them before and after the workshops about their knowledge and confidence to support a young person through transition planning. And workshop participants wholeheartedly told us that the information that they had learned from the Boost Day and the workshops had increased their confidence and knowledge to support a young person on the spectrum in transition planning, and that they would use it in future and ask others to also use it. Well, myWAY Employability was developed to provide the wider community with access to the career exploration and goal-setting features of the Boost Day. Past users of the research version of the Boost Day might recognise some of these features, even though the look and the feel of the myWAY Employability website is now a little different. In addition, myWAY Employability provides a wide range of information resources, articles, and ideas to assist with the various stages of transition planning. Each of these information articles has been co-designed with young people on the autism spectrum to ensure that they are relevant and in appropriate and accessible language.
Thanks, Marina. Hi, I'm Cheryl, and I've had the absolute joy of being the co-lead for myWAY Employability. A quick recap on where we're actually up to. So Autism CRC's vision is to see autistic people empowered to use their diverse strengths and interests. Marina and her brilliant team have conducted deep research to understand the needs of young people transitioning from school, as well as the systems and supports around them. They've also developed the Boost Day and now trialled it with almost 100 young people around Australia, finding it to be effective in improving the self-determination of young people to plan and prepare for their working life. In short, we've established the need, we've developed the solution, and now we have the evidence to show that it actually works. But now we've had a new challenge. How do we actually get this tool into the hands of young people and their supporters, the people who need it? The challenge was, how do we turn the Boost Day website, built for research purposes, into a holistic offering that was fun and engaging, a platform that not only adds value, but one that young people actually really want to use. As part of the Telstra Foundation's Tech for Good challenge, we worked through a service design process alongside 15 other incredible non-profit organisations designing solutions to support diverse and disadvantaged young people. We worked together, we challenged, we mentored and supported each other, and explored new technologies and approaches to user experience research. Adopting a human-centered design approach, we worked with autistic young people to really understand their needs and preferences, to explore potential solutions, and ultimately to co-design, test, and refine myWAY employability. In the discovery and design phase, we undertook research in interviews, workshops, informal conversations with young people to test our assumptions. At every turn and as much as possible, we sought to better understand the expectations, challenges, and experiences of young people as they leave high school and move into further education, training, and employment. We talked to autistic young people as young as 14 who hadn't given a thought to or were only just starting to think about their future careers. We talked to school leavers. We talked to people in university, in TAFE. We talked to people in traineeships, in open and supported employment. We brought young adults in to reflect on what may have helped or hindered their transition from school and ultimately their entry into the workforce. At times, we also talked with their parents, the professionals and the service providers around them, the people who support these young people and really know them best. In the design of myWAY, autistic young people told us so clearly that what they wanted was information in language that's clear and literal, information presented in uncluttered visual designs, services that are not patronising and that truly acknowledge their unique capabilities, content that was authentic, relevant, and developed from the perspective of someone on the autism spectrum. These became our guiding principles. We held them close and they remained top of mind throughout the development and build. In development, we really focused in on how we might create that fun and engaging platform, the one that adds value to a young person's life and that they actually want to use. We established a neurodiverse youth advisory group of 7 young people, amazing young people all over Australia, who we invited to provide critical input and feedback at key points throughout the build. We engaged a very talented autistic writer to co-produce the resource articles and review every single word that appears on myWAY. Through the wonderful team at Queensland Department of Education Autism Hub, we went into several high schools and did user testing with senior students. We worked with incredible service providers who put us in touch with young people from all over Australia. We put the technology in the hands of young people. We observed, we listened closely to their reflections, their needs and experiences. We invited conversations about what they liked, but more importantly, we invited conversations about what they didn't like and how we could actually make it better. We tested the look and feel, the content, the quizzes, the language, the features, the usability, again and again and again. As much as possible, we responded in refinement of the design and user experience. In the earlier discovery and design phases, we engaged with over 220 stakeholders, young people, parents, health professionals, and educators. A further 90 autistic young people from Australia, New Zealand, and the UK were involved in development, taking part in co-design workshops, in card sorting workshops, reviewing the written content on the site, providing feedback on various elements, and of course, user testing. Before we introduce myWAY employability, I really want to take this moment to sincerely thank all the young people, parents, and professionals and service providers who've been part of our journey since the very beginning. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. So now, without further ado, I'll hand over to Brendan to take you through myWAY employability.
Hi everyone, I'm Brendan. I'm a product manager at Autism CRC, here to give you a bit of a walkthrough of myWAY employability. I'd like to start with our resources section. This is a bunch of articles we think will help young people transitioning out of high school and into employment or further education. We've got them broken down by categories, extracurricular training, things like a gap year. We've also got on the job if you're employed already, things like workplace stress, communication, changing jobs, professional development. We've also got studying after school in case you're going on to university or TAFE or studying online, as well as a few extracurricular life skill things such as getting around, using public transport, and of course, using myWAY as part of a team. And now I'll jump into the dashboard. This is where you manage your profile, goals, and your team. Your profile is broken up into different sections. You don't have to complete them all in one go. You can actually save and revisit them whenever you like. One of our most engaging sections is the career exploration section, which asks you to prioritise 4 different activities along a sliding scale. There's only 15 of these questions, and you'll notice the language of these are written in a modern, easy to understand way. The results of this section compiles your answers and provides a percentage breakdown between 6 different career areas. When we tested this, we had lots of feedback that it would be best to see all of the actual types and a percentage breakdown so that you're not pushed down a certain path. As you can see, I've got a fairly even spread of results here. So I can actually go in and see what sort of jobs would suit me as an investigative person. So barrister, for example, and I could see what sort of day-to-day tasks are involved in that job. Although if I'm interested, I could also look into the practical sort of jobs and see what might suit me. So vehicle painter, for example. And moving on to our strengths section, this is a set of 23 questions to really surface what skills would complement a certain career path. As we take a strength-based approach in myWAY, it also prompts the users to reflect on what they're good at. And moving on to our sensory preferences section, we heard all the time a common theme from young people that they just want to be comfortable at work. So when it comes to working effectively, we created a series of questions that allows users to basically declare what their preference would be. So for example, if they prefer to work indoors or outdoors, or if it doesn't really matter, you can select that here. The same goes for things like sound, smells, routines, office locations, things like that. In future, we hope to actually build in some suggested workplace accommodations in response to these questions. And speaking of being comfortable, we also found that the path to employment isn't always a straight one. So we've got a section here for post-school pathways, which includes things like what would you like to do after school. This can include going straight into the workplace, or it might be another sort of category where you can declare that you might want to take a gap year or two, as well as go to university. And this is multiple choice, of course. And our final section is life skills. These are less employment related, but still vital for actually figuring out what you might need help with, things like navigating around public transport or budgeting, financial skills, that kind of thing. When you do complete your profile, you can actually see your consolidated results under the My Results section. This compiles all your questions and answers and puts them together in a neat little exportable profile. This is exported as a PDF and it can be forwarded on to your team or printed out and discussed elsewhere. See, it's got a breakdown of what my career areas were, my strengths, sensory preferences, post-school pathways, and my life skills. And this is my goals section. So starting from right to left, you'll see that I've got a big sky dream, essentially what my dream role is. And here it's to own a cafe, as well as a library, of course. And I can edit that at any time. Understandably, goals change. So do dreams, so you can update them here. And on the left-hand side, you can have up to 5 goals that can be shared within the team. For example, here I've got exploring some career options with a few different tasks to be broken down. Obviously, the more you break down a larger goal, the easier it is to actually accomplish the goal. And you can assign these steps to members of your team or yourself, as well as adjust them at any time. And we also heard how difficult it is to start with a blank slate. So we've actually provided some goal templates here, finding a mentor, getting job ready, finding work experience. That includes some pre-made tasks for you to actually complete. And this is the My Team section of myWAY Employability. Here you can invite team members to join you to complete your goals and steps. Just keep in mind that they can actually see your goals, your updates, your progress, as well as your profile. You can also set some team meetings where you can designate an actual time and date. You can also select how you'd like to be involved. So you can run the meeting completely by yourself or with the help of somebody else, or you can just listen and not actually need to talk. There's a few other options as well where you can declare what actually might help you, like using fidget or sensory toys or if you can join the meeting via video conference. Very important these days. And that's it from me. I'd encourage everyone to log on straight away.
Thank you very much, Marina, Cheryl and Brendan. It's very impressive to see the amount of research, collaboration and innovation that's gone on behind the scenes to create this platform for young people. Thank you again. I would now like to introduce Liam, Grace, Harry and Alexander, who have all been involved in various ways throughout the design and development. We're now going to hear about their own strengths, interests and work experience and how they have been involved with myWAY and what they think of the platform.
I'm Liam, I'm 20 years old. I'm working 3 days a week as a software tester at a mining solutions company. I'm studying part-time at university for a Bachelor of Science in Computing.
My name is Grace. I am 16, turning 17 this year. I like to do drawing. I draw a lot.
My name is Harry and I'm 29 years old. I'm currently working in the Social Training Institute as a project assistant, as well as a casual academic research assistant as well. In the field of psychology, and currently I'm doing some projects on elderlies with autism. I'm currently studying my Master of Mental Health program at the moment.
My name is Alexander Conway. I'm 16 years old. I liked learning about cars, but I also like doing things with my hands. I didn't really enjoy sitting and typing on a computer.
My main leisure activities are gaming online, sometimes with other people in person at LAN parties, Dungeons and Dragons as well. So I'd say computers have been a massive part of my life. If you ask my mum, she would tell you that I've been trying to use computers since I was at least 3, obviously unsuccessfully at that age, but as time has gone on, I've gotten better with them and now they are a huge part of my life. And I help other people with them all the time.
And I'm quite interested in the practice field of psychology. On my spare time, I like just go online and learning some new stuff, as well as do some more readings in terms of journal articles and literature regarding on research.
I think I'd like to be a mechanic, / maybe do a little hobby on the side, maybe restoring cars or changing up cars as a YouTuber.
If I can, I would like to work as an illustrator, and if I'm very achievable in that, I can probably work up to be a writer, a storyboard writer. I like draw different kinds of people and what their movements are. So maybe also a character designer. In the past, I really had no idea. I didn't know what to do, what to be like. But then one day when I was over at friends, her mom looked over my drawings and said, "Wow, you're a really good drawer. Have you thought of becoming an illustrator or something?" There was this stand with a lady who was talking, and I was looking at her pictures, and she was really good. And when she said illustrator, I was shocked, "You're an illustrator." And I was I had so many questions for her, like how does it work? Where did you go? How do you get jobs? It was really good talking to her. I introduced her to my mom and she lent me her card. She was a good person who really helped me answer my questions. Then I decided I'm gonna be an illustrator. And that's how I came to that idea of what I want to be. And I'm really happy that I was able to find something that I enjoy so much.
That moment when I realized what I wanted to do, it was actually doing programming in year 10, I think it was. I was programming and I was just I really enjoy this. I should make a job out of this.
I'm pretty open to different options, particularly as a psychologist or psychotherapist, as well as become an academic or a lecturer. I'm pretty interested in any of them.
My ultimate goal after I finish uni is to be a programmer. Where at? I don't know. I'll go wherever life takes me. But it is important to dream big. It's always important to do that. It will get you places. When I was in high school, I was part of the original Boost A study that eventually became myWAY.
I've been involved as a part of the advisory group, and my job mainly in providing ideas and also examining the ideas, auditing them with the program leaders as well as other members from the advisory group. Yeah. And it's been pretty interesting journey, particularly when you start seeing all the ideas come together and become a functional tool. It's been really rewarding. During the workshops, the first one, we basically providing idea on how to, what are the options to helping people, particularly young people, to find their ways into their dream career. And then in the second sessions, we are start to selecting ideas that will be most helpful in terms of finding a job or pursuing a career, and also what type of resources was most meaningful and helpful in that kind of situation.
I was doing user testing. I also helped give ideas for myWAY employability, like what it should have, and help basically with its foundation, the building blocks for it, and help give the designing and programming team some ideas on and what to keep in mind for the younger generation.
On the third sessions, what we do is we are already able to see an alpha version of the product, and we are trying to search for whether or not there's some bugs or places that could be improved on. Mostly is about the aesthetic as well as the user friendliness, trying to improve that, since a website or an app in such products, it will be very important to be user friendly, and also it's easy to use for young people as well.
I worked at the workshop last year. It was really fun. I just gave it my best shot in doing it, giving them ideas that probably are crazy and stuff, but I gave it my all. Well, my idea was for a companion online that probably could help you with life or so. Like, you can like have the app even after school, and it can probably help you, like show you the way to go. Maybe they can ask you like questions of what's your big goal in life or something.
I can see when my ideas on how to create reachable small goals within the whole big pictures of your career path that's been employed within the program, which it's pretty satisfying when I see my idea is helpful to the others.
myWAY is about basically helping you realize what you like to do, and helping you set a goal for that employability.
I like how myWAY employability gets me to think about my interests and strengths, and then evaluates those to determine potential job ideas that I might enjoy.
And it sort of also gives you options, so if you don't like that particular career, you're not given a couple, you're given quite a few.
The product has been great. I did use it myself and test it as well, and it shows a pretty easy and friendly, user-friendly interface, so you can easily access all your essentials information easily, as well as it will be able to access your strengths and weaknesses, and then provide you a clear picture of what you are good at and what sort of career path that you can pursue. It provided some information that I was not aware of while I finished school, even though I have a really good idea of what I wanted to do. However, the stepping stones that's required to reach that certain goal is unclear for me. But this program, from the website that I tested on, I was able to find quite lots of information on each steps that I could use, and then to pursue my goal.
myWAY also asks your preferability on environment and social environment for your workplace, and from that determines what sort of workplace you might also enjoy working in. Everyone has different preferred environments, and some people struggle to work in environments they don't enjoy. So when I put in my information about my interests and strengths into myWAY, one of the recommended jobs was actually spot on for what I'm actively working towards with my university degree. The articles provided by myWAY were very relevant to a lot of things, actually. They actually answered a lot of questions I would have had a year or two ago, and one or two of them actually answered some questions I still had to this day.
This will probably help quite a lot of people, maybe me including, as well.
The site was simple and easy to use. The colours were nice. It even has a black and white mode if you don't want colours. I would definitely recommend myWAY Employability to anyone who asked, considering it got my perfect job idea first time just from my interests and strengths. I'd say it's pretty good.
Be true to yourself. Just looking into what your strengths are, and then just pursuing that goal, as well as use the information there wisely, since the information within could help you, give you a really clear guidance on what you needed to do in each of the steps, and plan it carefully, and then you should be able to find out a pathway that's suitable for you.
Don't limit yourself. Go higher, think bigger.
Thank you very much, Liam, Grace, Harry and Alexander, for sharing your experiences and your thoughts about myWAY. It's all greatly appreciated. Now I'd like to introduce Andrew Davis, who's the CEO of the Autism CRC, who is going to facilitate our question and answer session this afternoon. Over to you, Andrew.
Thank you very much, Rob, and hello everyone. I'm Andrew Davis, CEO of Autism CRC, and I'm very pleased to facilitate our live Q&A session this afternoon. You've already met Marina, Cheryl, Brendan and Harry. I'd also like to introduce Adie Wilmot from Curtin University, who has played a valuable role in the research and content development for myWAY Employability. Welcome, Adie. So, firstly, thank you to everyone who has submitted a question already. We will get through as many of your questions as possible between now and the end of the hour. If you haven't yet submitted a question, there is still time to do so. You can submit your question by typing it into the Q&A pane of the Zoom control panel, which you click at the bottom of your screen. It's the one that has the two speech bubbles as an icon. Please ensure that you submit via the Q&A panel, not via the chat panel, so that the team that are compiling those to be asked of our panelists here today can do so. Now, on to the first question. We've had a few questions from people asking at both ends of the age spectrum, if you like, as to the applicability of myWAY Employability. So maybe first to you, Cheryl. We've had a couple of questions from parents of 7-year-olds. Sorry, people in year 7, not 7-year-olds, people in year 7, and asking whether or not the website now or in the future would be something that would be useful for their children.
Sorry. Thank you, Andrew. And thank you, whoever asked that question, because it's such a good question. And I might throw to Marina in a minute to talk about some of the Boost Day research, because one of the key findings in that research was really about start early and keep the young person at the centre. So myWAY really takes young people through a process of identifying their strengths and interests, learning and environmental preferences, and then starts to match those preferences and those interests to potential careers. So the earlier someone actually starts getting that information, understanding themselves and what their strengths and interests are, the better. So I guess we designed it really targeting that kind of older young person, but the earlier it's being used, the better. So, but Marina, you might have a perspective from the Boost Day research.
Yes, thank you, Cheryl. So one of the underlying principles is start early, and even for somebody in year 7, it's not too early to start having those discussions about the young person identifying, what am I good at and what do I really enjoy doing? And it doesn't mean that if somebody has a particular interest that it may evolve into a job, because some things that we're interested in may remain as a wonderful hobby. But it gets them to start thinking from a strengths-based approach, and to start trialling things, and to start talking to other people and seeing what opportunities there may be. And we are going to be creating some resources for teachers that will be launched later in the year, and they can be used, and that will be on the Inclusion Ed website, and we'll be letting people know when those are going to be available as well. But it's about starting those conversations early, and so it's too late in year 12 to start talking about transition planning. So whilst we have said 14 to 30, these conversations can start in year 7 as well.
I just pick up, you said there, you know, you've planned 14 to 30. We have a question at the other end of the age spectrum as to, will the platform work for those that have already left school, for example, those that are in their early 20s who haven't had access to the resource beforehand?
Absolutely, Andrew. Thank you. Yes, absolutely, because the questions are asking individuals to be introspective. It's about them identifying what's their dream. And as Brendan said, dreams can change over time. It's never too late to start that conversation. So if somebody's already left school and they found that they're sitting at home, perhaps with no goals right now, it's a perfect time to hop on. And even if somebody is already employed, they might be employed part-time or in a job, and they're thinking, what's the next step for me? Again, myWAY Employability can provide them with that goal-setting features. Start creating a network, start talking to the right people. There are some information articles about, you know, how can you leave a job respectfully and, you know, move to another position. So there's a little something in there for everyone, regardless of age.
Okay, thanks. One other question. We've had quite a few questions about the usability, if you like, of the platform for those with co-occurring conditions, for example, those with an intellectual disability. Marina, Cheryl, would you like to touch on that?
Yeah, I can kick that off, because again, that's a really interesting question. To pick up on the previous one around age as well, we actually worked with a range of young people of all ages and abilities in the co-design process. So that means, you know, young people even younger than 14, right through to young adults who are already in the workforce, and then people with and without a diagnosis, people with an intellectual disability and not. I guess the use of the platform with someone who perhaps needs a little bit more support around that, it's designed so that a supporter can actually help with setting goals and setting up tasks and things. So it's really about just being able to provide that extra support if it's needed.
Okay, thanks. Adie, welcome. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for all your work and the development of the platform.
It's great to be here.
Just one question. How does the myWAY employability platform actually assess which jobs might be best for me?
Yeah, well, there's two parts of that question. Firstly, there's the individual person who gets in there and, as Marina says, takes an introspective approach, or perhaps talks to others who know them well and really goes into an exploration of their interests, their strengths, their sensory and learning profile. And as you saw in the video, that produces a profile on the dashboard, which they can look at, modify, and so forth. The other part of it was doing the research about jobs and finding out which jobs might suit people with different interests or strengths. So myWAY makes that connection, hopefully, and will help people in their career exploration.
Okay. So while I've got you, how can myWAY employability be used in schools?
Well, we're working on that at the moment. And we're working with a wonderful team of teacher advisors to help us develop a whole pack of resources that will supplement the myWAY employability platform so that they can use it within their classrooms or even in online teaching, as the case might be, particularly in these times. Yeah, so that's being developed as we speak, and we're hoping to trial in term 4, if I'm correct, Marina.
That's correct, Adie. And Andrew, I want to just say teachers are some of our greatest supporters around for young people around transition planning. And so many teachers that we spoke to over the years of development of myWAY employability have said that it's such a fundamental part of their role, but oftentimes they feel that they don't have the resources to be able to do that job as well as they'd like to. And so the myWAY employability educator resources we're developing will be hands-on practices, classroom activities, as Adie said, that can be done face-to-face or online, delivered completely online. So teachers don't even have to think about it. The resources are there for them that they can apply to the classroom. And those resources can be for individuals or as a whole of class activity, because we've developed myWAY employability as a very inclusive website. So it can be used by people who are on the spectrum as well as those who are neurotypical as well.
And just to confirm, once those resources are developed, how might teachers access them?
So those resources are going to be made available via the Inclusion Ed website, which was launched just a little while ago. Those are freely available, and we will make an announcement via the Autism CRC website, as well as the social media platforms, to let people know that those are available. And we will also be doing a little bit of an evaluation of those resources. So we're developing them in conjunction with teachers as part of our advisory group. But once we put them out and they're there and being used by teachers, we will be asking teachers to join in with us to help us evaluate those and let us know what they like and what they think might need to be improved, so we can continue to make that a valuable but also a relevant resource for teachers.
Thanks. You made the point that they'll be freely available to educators through the Inclusion Ed platform. There has been a question about the cost of accessing myWAY employability for those those adolescents, young adults that are wanting to use the platform. Cheryl, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So absolutely, myWAY employability is free to use. So please, we welcome everyone to get online and look it up. It's www.mywayemployability.com.au, and yeah, it's free to use.
I'm just note that we've got lots of questions coming in on the Q&A line, and we did promise everybody we'd be done by the hour, so we've got about 8 or 9 minutes to go. What I would say is that all of your questions are obviously being gathered, and where we can't address them here now, they're either possibly addressed in the FAQs, which you can find on the Autism CRC website, story about myWAY employability and its launch, or we will otherwise address them and post those responses at a later time. So don't think that we won't address it one way or another if we can't actually do it in the time window that we've got here. So thanks for all your questions. The numbers are still ticking over, which is great to see all that interest. One for you, Brendan, if I might. It's about what's the recommendation age for someone to start? I think we've talked about that. There was a question about, can we as parents monitor or be involved and register as a team member?
Yeah, definitely. So the recommendation, the age is 14, obviously, as we mentioned before. It does have a parental consent feature in the registration. So it actually asks for your parents' consent if you're under 15 years old, and it will also invite the parent or guardian to be a team member as well. Because we've co-designed myWAY Employability to actually be for the young person registers and can invite parents, guardians, older siblings maybe who might be mentoring, any other existing mentor. So we definitely encourage that young person to log on, complete their profile, and start inviting to build a bit of a network.
And build a support team.
Yep.
Yeah. A question about, and I think you sort of showed this through your walkthrough, this question came in, said, do you assist individuals whose interests and strengths lay outside of IT, technology, coding, and other areas that aren't?
Definitely. This is a common theme that we've picked up, actually. And we've also met a lot of creative people, amazingly creative people, which obviously doesn't really fit that well in the IT field. Right? So,
that's coming from an IT person.
I know, I'm self-admit. But Adie's done a fantastic job in terms of, with the Career Explorer, actually putting in some activities that cover a wide range of career sectors. So, you might think starting a YouTube channel, for example, is a creative activity, or, painting and drawing, creative activity. So that actually matches in the background to what sort of career might suit you best. So certainly it's not all IT, it's not all data at all.
And so you've got Harry sitting beside you there. Harry, if you were to think back, you've been out of school years for a few years now, but if you were to think back when you were in high school, would myWAY Employability have helped you, given the experience you've had now with the development of the platform? And if it would have, how do you think it would have helped you?
Yeah, definitely. In my opinion, if this resource is available while I finish school, it definitely can save a lot of headaches and frustration. Since even though I know quite certain what I would like to do, however, I'm not quite certain like how to reach that specific goal, what other degrees are required, so what sort of job experience I should do while I was at school, etc. So yeah, if this resource is available back then, it will be immensely helpful.
It's great. This is one probably that anyone can pick up, but maybe we'll start with you, Marina. It's a common question. A lot of people have commented very positively about seeing that there's a mentoring function in the platform. How does the mentoring feature work?
So the mentoring itself is prompting the young person to perhaps set a goal to find a mentor. So the platform itself won't provide that mentorship, but it provides that impetus for the young person to start to network and find a mentor. Peer mentors can be really, really valuable because they can provide that support and their own lived experience around a number of different areas. There are also other organisations. The ICANN network in Australia provides a wonderful mentoring and support. So it's the peer mentoring as a goal, or mentoring, finding a mentor as a goal, is really one of the prompts for embarking on that process of building employability. And I think one of the things that it highlights is that whilst this is an individual's journey, many times you might, even if it's one other person, you might need some help along the way in reaching the goal. And so the mentorship functionality can allow the person to identify who that mentor might be, set up some regular meeting schedules, include them as part of the team, and so they're able to also see how that young person is progressing and at what point they might need some additional assistance.
Okay, thank you. And while you've got the microphone, a technical question about what career theory underpins the platform.
Okay, so there's a number of different underpinning theories, and certainly one of them is that this is very much a strengths-based approach and a growth mindset. And so young people are prompted to consider that have a go. Use your strengths and your interests to have a go, and if things don't work out as you might have planned, that's actually okay. Look at it as a learning opportunity to see how you might do things differently in the future. So very much a strengths-based approach and a growth mindset. The other thing is that Adie has done some wonderful work, and we as a team have kind of tweaked some of the work that was done by Holland and the categories that he had developed around looking at career exploration, and we have adapted those to meet the needs of young people on the autism spectrum. And so I know there were some comments to say, how is this any different to other career exploration platforms? Because the language, and even in the Career Explorer, when you're looking to answer those questions in the quizzes, you will see that they are very, very different in the way that they're worded. And in fact, one of the features that Adie has put in is that young people might not know what some of these jobs are. The job titles don't really tell them much. And so some of the questions that Adie is asking right at the beginning in that Career Explorer, the Autism Career Explorer component of the website, is what do you like to do in school? What are the things that you like to do with your family and your friends? And so it's starting with those everyday activities, and then we then incorporated a modification of Holland's work.
Okay, I think we've got time for two very quick Q&As. So firstly, Harry, was there anything that surprised you about myWAY and your experience in the co-design process?
Yeah, definitely. Especially when I look at, other people's within the advisory group and see the ideas they come up with. It's actually a lot more great idea that appears to me that would be really helpful when it comes to careers, path searching, or even saying like what sort of things they should do in order to reach their dreams, which I was totally not in my mind prior to that. So yeah, it's pretty surprising to see those things.
Thanks, Harry. And Cheryl, very important, it's all a system. What about links to employment opportunities?
Oh, this is a fantastic question. Thank you, whoever asked this, and picking up. So you might have guessed the priority in this stage of development that we've just been through is really focused on young people. However, the next phase is really looking at the needs of employers, service providers, parents, supporters, and the people around autistic young people and the people who support them to move into employment. And absolutely, employers are such a critical part of that. We have a foundation of understanding from the research that we've already done in the CRC employment program. And I guess we really see this as one part of a really integrated solution around transition planning from high school to universities to TAFE to whatever. But also understanding what's needed in order to create and build that foundation around an inclusive workplace. So it's such a good question because it's absolutely the focus of our research moving forward and of the next phase of our co-design. So watch this space. We'll be absolutely calling for input on many levels in the future from employers and service providers and disability employment services.
Thanks, Cheryl, and thanks everybody. That brings us to the end of our Q&A session today. As I said, if you've put up questions that aren't answered by the FAQs, which you can get to on the CRC webshop, Autism CRC website, then we'll seek to address those separately and post those alongside over the coming days. Thank you to everyone who submitted a question, and indeed to everyone who has joined us this afternoon for this very special launch event. I'd also like to express my personal thanks to our panellists, Marina, Cheryl, Brendan, Harry and Adie, for their time today, but more importantly for their contributions to the development and now to the launch of myWAY Employability. I'd also like to reiterate Rob's earlier reflections and thank the hundreds of young people, researchers, parents, service providers, teachers and employers who have contributed to making myWAY Employability a reality. As you can probably tell from the team, we're all very proud of myWAY Employability. The team has only had time to give you a brief tour of the platform today, so I encourage you therefore to go from this event to the platform itself. When you have the time to go and explore myWAY Employability at myWayEmployability.com.au and explore it fully for yourself. Please also share the platform with young people, parents and service providers in your personal and professional networks. If you have any questions about the site, please email them to hello@mywayemployability.com.au. That's hello@mywayemployability.com.au. Thank you all so much once again for joining us here today. Enjoy your evening and please stay well.